Hello, everybody. How are you? Hope everything is all right. I forgot my keyboard. Wireless keyboard is essential. I knocked the camera. Okay. And here we go. I've got a Yaesu receiver that's working here with the W6 LVP loop. So nice to see everybody on board. Let's like this. Just put this like this. So I'm a little more comfortable. Hope everybody's all right and safe. And let's open the chat. Let's do this. I'm just going to take this, move it a little here. Take this, move it a little bit on that side. A little bigger. And yep. Let's move this here so this can move like here. Here. Sorry, I was Paul the cat wanted some attention. He wanted to play, and I forgot the time. When I look at the clock, I was like, oh, it's time to start. Paul the cat wants attention. And now he's probably eating some food. Just put that like this. Okay, welcome aboard, everybody. And this is the live shortwave show. We are here every, twice a week, technically. So we are here on, let me turn this on. There we go. A little more. There we go. Okay. So we are here on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 0 hours UTC. On Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's 20 hours Universal Time. And we are here to entertain and have fun talking about radio. And basically, we have a beautiful chat room here that you can join. And if you're not here, you simply go to the Facebook group. And it has the same name as this group, Official SWL Channel. And you just have to answer the questions. And I want to just add a little something. If you are, I do not accept people that join that have been like, join Facebook like 10 minutes before the Facebook group. Especially if I don't know you really. I need to have a little more detail. So when you answer the questions, if you have created a Facebook page or Facebook account, just to be on the group, can you give me a little more details about who you are? It's kind of important because, when it says, when there's no profile picture and nothing really in the answers, and there's, it says because, when you join, it tells me how long you've been on Facebook. If it says you've been on Facebook 20 minutes, there are trolls out there. So I'm not going to accept you unless I know who you are. So if you did, you can also send me an email so that I know that you will actually be joining in with what name, because anybody that has a new Facebook account will not be added to the group unless, like I said, I verify who you are, because we don't want to have trolls in the Facebook group. But it's a great place to be once the live shows are off and gone. So my name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. What's this all about? It's about radio, and we tune around the bands, and we search for all sorts of things, and we talk about radio, answer questions, and just have fun together. It's really, really cool to have all of you here. Let me just check the email. Email. So we have Elizabeth in Regina, Saskatchewan saying hello. And we have Robert that is in Roswell, New Mexico saying hello. So hi to both of you. Nice to have you guys on board. And so this is the end of the week show, the Friday show. Me and Sheldon recorded the International Radio Report show for Sunday this afternoon. I just got 2 minutes ago confirmation from Tamara at CKUT that she's received it, and she seems to be happy to have all of that. So that means it should be on. Unfortunately, Sheldon is a little distorted because my audio levels weren't set right. Still learning, you know. I'm not used to doing that. So next week it should be perfect. It's little details that you look at, but it's totally listenable. It's just that Sheldon's a little blasted, but it's perfect. It still works great, and you'll have a nice show for those of you that want to listen to a nice radio show, which is the International Radio Report. Here it's on a local station in Montreal called CKUT on 90.3 FM, but it's also streamed live at 1430 UTC on ckut.ca. You can also go to the archive and listen to the recorded shows that are on the archive. You have 3 months of shows in the archive. And with the recording of the shows from my computer, I made myself a little archive, personal archive, so that these shows will stay available and will exist in the future more than 3 months from now. So I hope that everybody enjoys that effort that me and Sheldon, make to bring the show to you guys on Sunday morning, even though we can't go to the studio now, and that you'll enjoy our show on Sunday. Lots of interesting topics. And the International Radio Report does have a Facebook group also. If you like the show, if you enjoy listening to our radio show, why not join the International Radio Report Facebook page? And there's a lot of stories. There are links to some of the stories we talk about. And there are stories that we just don't have time to talk about that are showing up over there. So it's kind of cool to have all of that. And I'm happy to have found a way to record and participate and have that show available to all of you on Sunday at 1430 UTC. Mark Cope, hello there from Dallas, Texas, WA5153SWL. René Charbonnier in the Netherlands. Nice to have you here, my friend. Matt in Denver, Colorado, MDK2, W0D, MDK, or WA0080SWL. And Liam Conlon, nice to have you here from the Republic of Ireland. Simply go to the Facebook page and search for official SWL channel. Answer the questions. Bobby Burgess, nice to have you here from Morgan City, Louisiana. WA510S. 5107 SWL, and cheers with my vodka cranberry juice drink. WOHP 1390, nice to have you here. Rick in Ohio, W8PRR. Rob, nice to have you here from Phoenix, Arizona. Larry Stevens from Newark, Ohio. Mike Hill, nice to have you here from Northwest Arkansas. Kevin Janapalo, WS2H in Point Beach, New Jersey. Jerry DX, hello there, my friend. Calvin, nice to have you here, my friend. John Pickney, nice to have you here from Oak Hill, Virginia. W3XWT. John Pickney says, hit the like button before you forget. Scott Cranston, nice to have you here from Massachusetts. Jasmine from Seattle, Washington. WF7I Ombrew from Virginia. Nice to have you here. Beautiful day today. Cool. Here was rainy most of the day. Rainy and windy. Gray weather. Rufus Newt, nice to have you here, my friend. What do we have? Catalan, nice to have you on board. Calvin is from Lockdown, Ireland. Pretty much everybody's locked down. Sheldon Harvey from Greenfield Park, Quebec. Talked to that guy not that long ago, actually. Nice to have you on board. PLF Radio, bonjour et bienvenue. De la France, toujours un plaisir de t'avoir parmi nous. And I want to see something here. I want to see if we're here. Not hearing anything on 5000, but there's mysterious radio teletype signal that popped up and that we noticed on Wednesday. Kind of interesting. Keegan, X1080Xer, nice to have you here from Northwest Arkansas. Arthur's Other Crafter's Kitchen from Massachusetts. David, KJ4CMY, nice to have you here. Randall Klontz, nice to have you on board. Old Radio Man from Northeast Tennessee, nice to have you here. Randall Klontz is from Northeast Illinois. Kevin Wood from Nova Scotia, Canada. Northern Dawn, nice to have you on board. And he's got some Guinness. So you're here for the party. Some are for the radio. You're here for the party. We have Zach Arianto. Nice to have you here, Zach. Been laying out in the sun and get some vitamin D all day. Cool. That's what you need to feel better. So, well, the cops are on my street. They're probably getting me to come. They're coming to get me. They're coming to get me. So, Kathleen says, as Elon Musk said, we need better bandwidth. Yeah, a lot of places have bad internet connectivity. That's sad. James Stiles, nice to have you here, my friend, in Indiana. Brian Penny, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Nice to have you here. Andy RC, nice to have you on board from Cornwall, Southwest UK. Jerry DX, still alive? We should be. We should be. Joe Rotman, nice to have you on board from beautiful Chicago. What else do we have? What else do we have? Let's go down. Calvin, well, it's pretty much my usual beard. It's the hair, you know. It's. I'm lucky to have done this because if you guys remember, not even a month ago, I had longer hair, and I had a haircut about 3 or 4 days before they shut down all the places, all the barbershops. Which means that I was lucky because I would have continued having long hair. What else do we have? Ricardo Silva, nice to have you here from Portugal in a state of emergency. Like pretty much all the countries now. Dijon, nice to have you here. Andy Coley, nice to have you here. Radioactive, nice to have you on board from Oregon. Good afternoon. Alme Sam, good afternoon. Nice to have you on board. Jamie Burke, nice to have you here. Just got my first shortwave radio. I see guys putting wires on the antenna. Does adding a wire help? AM or just FM and shortwave sideband? Well, actually, a portable radio or a radio in general, most radios, but a portable radio has, of course, its telescopic antenna. And you know, if you have good signals and low noise, it's already not bad with the telescopic antenna. But remember that on shortwave, because the wavelengths are very, very long, adding a wire to make that antenna longer will actually help on the shortwave frequency range. Typically, for AM radio, it doesn't really affect because most of the time the portable radio has an internal ferrite antenna. But for shortwave, definitely adding wire to make the antenna longer does improve the signals. And if you can get that wire outside and coming in through a window, for example, you might even see that it's even more interesting. The only thing about wire is you got to have a low noise environment. If there's a lot of noise with the different devices around you and your neighbors, it might actually add more noise than anything else. But definitely try a piece of wire on the antenna. The longer, the better, and try it out. You'll see that you'll get even more signals. So nice to have you here, Jamie. Jeff Williams, nice to have you on board from Southwest Cornwall. Skip Davis, nice to have you here from Oklahoma. David says, hey, the barbershops here are closed down. By the time this ends, I will look like a hippie. Yeah, it's okay. Northern Don went to park today. Good amount of stations. Cool. Radioactive says hello, Elizabeth. Everybody's saying hello to Elizabeth and Robert. So nice to have all of you here. Mark Schmidt in Maine. Nice to have you here. Long time no see. Hope you are well, my friend. Rufus Newt. Nice to have you here from the Laurentian Valley, Ontario. What else do we have? Matt says, I was supposed to have a haircut 2 weeks ago. Paid my stylist even though I didn't go in. Well, soon, one day, it's going to happen. Bruno Rono from Kenya. Nice to have you on board, my friend. What else do we have? The on the air sign is not bright. Oh, shame on me. Shame on me. Here we go. We fixed the problem. Houston, we have a problem. Too much. We just try to remove some of the lights on the air sign is not on. I need to put it in a better place. Probably up here would be nice on the wall. I find it really a spot so there. It will never be covered by anything, and it will always look great. So thanks for letting me know. One of those little details. Northern Rambler. Hello there, my friend. Mickey Delmage. Nice to have you on board. And says, a mystery around WWV 5 megahertz seemed to have be corrected overnight. Huh. Interesting. Could it be just a transmitter that was on and just popped up on the wrong frequency? That's not impossible, but it's kind of weird. We'll be checking that out tonight, that's for sure. No, AM radio in general, that's the internal ferrite. That won't be affected by a wire. Dejan, beer and shortwave radio show. What could I want more? Hey, isn't that the definition of heaven? Not saying that, maybe I could be the god of shortwave. No, I'm not. I'd put that title to, I don't know, Glenn Hauser or something. John Pickney, my former UNID'd local on 1640 is announcing a call sign WJN 874, no QTH given. While out shopping yesterday morning, peaks up in the area of Virginia Route 28 and US Route 50. No FCC record, though. Rick Sader, nice to have you here. Northern Rambler, nice to have you on board. MI0JST. Nice to have you here, Victor. Jamie Burke, Idaho. Cool. Really cool. Plus Zero, nice to have you here. He's calling CQ on 12 meters FT8 and 5 UWY. Ron Evans, K5XK in Bella Vista, Arkansas. Jivan Robert Milligan from Alberta, Canada. Nice to have you here, my friend. So, yeah, what I have tonight is not a beer. Actually, because of all that what's happening, I tend to go to the grocery store where it's the fastest possible, time to go, because most grocery stores you gotta wait in line and so on, and it takes an enormous amount of time. And I hate waiting in line, even though we have to now. So there's one grocery store that I go to that they don't ask you to wait in line; they ask you to clean your hands. And so I've been going to that one because I don't have to wait in line to get in. As long as you keep your social distance. So that place isn't far from here, and it's where I usually buy my beers. But the problem is they're out of beer of the brands that I like. They have stuff, but not stuff that I like drinking. So I reverted back to my good old, vodka and cranberry juice. Low end STI, nice to have you here. Shortwave channel, or low ends TI, possibly. Mark Alford, nice to have you here from Vancouver Island, Pacific Northwest. What else do we have? Eyebrawler, nice to have you here from Arkansas. What else? It's we're going down fast this time. We're going on fast this time. Nicholas, nice to have you here. Nick, K9XN, Northwest Indiana. Blue Meanie, I'm in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Northeast part of North America. Jay Brennan, nice to have you on board, and the on the air is fixed. And Blue Meanie is from Scotland. Cool. Radioactive says the cops are coming to take you away. William Helms, nice to have you here from Florida. Kathleen says maybe we can talk about Galena radio. Galena Stone is used in, by the way, long wire and ground in parallel, a tiny speaker. Yeah, these it's a little bit like a kind of like a crystal radio. PLF Radio, saw your video about EIBS Space 820 schedules of 1st of April. I'm sad that I didn't download it to keep. It was funny. I mean, it's, he said complete and said enjoy, and you never post that word enjoy. So I started looking at the schedules, and I'm looking at what I'm going to listen to, because there were the real schedules, but Ian mixed in some stuff. And while I'm tuning to see what I can hear, I notice Radio Canada Northern Quebec Service 9625, and I'm like, whoa, that's impossible. But I had my moments of doubt for a second. I was like, could they have come back somehow? But no, the transmitter's not there, and and then I continue down the list, and I say, oh, Radio Moscow with like tens of frequencies. I'm like, okay, he's playing an April's Fool joke on us. But at the same time, oh man, you looked at that and it was like, wow, Radio Denmark, Radio Sweden, Radio Netherlands, Call Israel, Radio Canada International, all of that was in the schedules with the frequencies they used. Radio Australia, HCJB. I was like, oh man, wish that was a real schedule. Honestly, I looked at it and I thought, wish this is a real schedule. It would have been so nice to have all of that today. Jean-Marc, nice to have you here from Strasbourg, France. Took me 10 minutes to reach the show on my laptop. Wow. John Trigger, nice to have you on board, my friend. What else? Yeah, what else? Rufus Newt says, have not had a haircut in almost 4 years. It's a charity thing, huh? Okay. Cool. What else do we have? He from Brussels, Belgium. Nice to have you here. Zach, I like to imagine AM is a government sensing secret transmissions, and they just assume no one will ever listen. Oh, man. Cyberflyer 1, nice to have you on board. Everybody's all right. Mad Reader DXer, nice to have you here. Randall Clons, can I be a mod? Yeah, why not? You've been here for a long time. You've been here for a long time. Here you go, Randall. New mod. How about that? Todd J. Riddle, nice to have you here. So congratulations. Liam's loving his new XH Data D808. Weren't you having some other radio? Matt says W. No, we're not talking about WWV, but Matt, there was a RTTY signal over it. So I don't know if it's if we'll hear it tonight or not. Todd J. Riddle, what's the telescopic whip on that scanner by the shortwave rig on top? Oh, this is not typical. This is not the antenna that should be there. This is a CB antenna, actually. It's a very, very long CB antenna. But I do have one that is also a telescopic that is a 30 megahertz to 1300 megahertz telescopic whip that I purchased at Radio Shack a long time ago. And I know that there are sometimes from on eBay. So they do enhance reception, and it's much better than the rubber duck antenna that comes with their scanners in general. But that one is I purchased on eBay, one here, and that is actually a CB antenna. It's meant for reception transmission on CB portables. And that one I purchased on eBay, I believe. Jeffrey Krupp, nice to have you on board from New Hampshire. Hardest Alley Crafters, can you make our Friday with another Alex Jones cameo? So you got to buy that new MLA30 antenna because, I was talking to my good friend in Congress the other day, and he said that when you buy an MLA30, nobody else can listen to shortwave because it just sucks all the antennas, just sucks all the airwaves, and you get it, just for yourself. So hurry up because, there won't be stocks for a very long time, considering the world events that were all created by our own governments. So don't forget. Oh, man. Tom DXer, nice to have you here from the Lower Hudson Valley, New York. That's hard on the throat, though. Catalan, the exception to the rule is that AM radio in cars usually are linked to the antenna. So often they will be linked to the antenna, especially because of all the metal everywhere. So there are exceptions to the rule. The Blind Picker, nice to have you here, Rob, in Connecticut, W0RAB. What else do we have? What else do we have? Jeffrey Krupp. Yeah, cranberry juice is good. Absolutely. Hey, Jojo. Nice to have you here. Louis. Not offline. I'm online. Rec. Nice to have you here from Turkey. Oh, man, I got tons of cat food thanks to Brian Penny that sent a load of canned food to make sure that Paul is all right. Liam, you mean toroids that we put in, that we'll use on wires to remove noise? Yes, they do. Man Reader DX or beer panic buying. In that case, it's not replacing the stock they have. And I asked the lady there why there was no, because about 60% of all the fridge are empty on the beer side. And she said, well, it's because they want to replace the fridge. So they're actually selling all the beer until there's no more so they can replace the fridge and then they'll have beer again. So, Dejin. I listened to Radio Taiwan International an hour ago, and sadly, the Taiwanese mail service stops transporting airmail. So, gotta wait for your QSL again. So, nice to have everybody here. Lee Burkett, nice to have you here, my friend. Been downloading databases of software for radio retro consoles. Oh, yeah. So, spending time with a text and receiver. That's cool. That's cool time. I like the real machines, but when I don't have a real machine, I do use some retro emulators. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened here to Refus, because they don't have my brand. Max 777. Any recommendations for starting out with SDR? I would say definitely get yourself a SDR Play or RSP1A. That is probably the best first SDR that you can buy. It's easy to set up, and you'll already have something good from the start. And I don't recommend anything below that in the RTL SDR dongles and stuff. You won't have fun with that. The RSP1A from SDR Play is really, really nice, and it's just amazing. Oh, really? Jerry DX. Wow, that is sad. Dejin received so many QSL cards from different stations lately. I'm really wondering what the mailman thinks if he delivers all the foreign mail. You're a spy, my friend. You're a spy. And even the government thinks you're a spy. Madrid DX at EIBI Space April Fools. Yeah, oh man. I was looking at those schedules and I was like, darn, I'd love that to be reality. For sure. For sure. Yeah, Bobby Burgess, a lot of trolls in there. Radio Telescope, nice to have you on board from the UK, M0ISA. James Powers, nice to have you here from Derry, New Hampshire, KC1ENJ. And I'm happy, Randall. You've been here for a long time. You've been here for a long time. Ari, nice to have you here, KD9FCZ from Illinois. Harry Gutman. Nick Amendel from Romania. Nice to have you on board, my friend. Nugent posted a reception report for WWCR. That reminds me of my good old days when I was a teen and that I would send dozens and dozens of reception reports every week. Nice to have you here, Radio Telescope. Matt says that RTT1 5001 kilohertz comes and goes. I've noted it before. Okay, interesting. It's the first time I note it on 5000, and I do quite every week, at least a couple of times. I check 5000 in the evening just to see how what propagation is like. Friend of Crows, nice to have you on board from Columbus, Ohio. Really enjoying this new hobby, and your videos are great and very helpful. Thank you very much. That's what we are here for. Liam sold this Sanjian for a desktop Texan 2000. Jojo, nice to have you on board and still at work. Just enjoying listening. Stay safe, my friend, also. PLF Radio, do you think this RTTY on 5 megahertz? Whoops. Is from WWV or another transmitter that is making a mistake on its frequency? It's clearly from another transmitter. And there are a few people that have there's a few people that have reported that it seems to maybe come from like the northeast part of the United States, maybe. So I don't know if it's an error in punching in a frequency or there's some, there's some increase in military communications. Mars, there's a lot more Mars activity, a lot of Federal Emergency Management Agency frequencies are active. So this is, it's possible that it's maybe some reactivation of, or some activation of some military thing that's just happens to be on the same frequency as WWV, or roughly. So, Jill Jones. Larry Stevens, great. Alex Jones impression. Oh, yeah, Matt, switch to pure whiskey. Or, it could work with vodka, but it has to be pure. No cranberry juice in it. Just pure vodka or pure whiskey. And after a little while, you'll get the Alex Jones voice for sure. Calvin picked up a new toy, or an old toy, a new old toy. Yaesu FT707. Cool. It's a lot of fun to have these, radios. So, Jones tinfoil hat is now on. Martin, nice to have you here. Hunter Carver, nice to have you on board, my friend. Yes, Jasmine, I wore a tinfoil hat, my Halloween costume on. It's online. You can go back and find the Halloween show. All of them are there. The Halloween shows of past years also. And lots of Alex Jones that day. Lots of Alex Jones that day. Benny Charbonnier, the World Radio shortwave transmitter in the Netherlands was bought by the Ministry of Defense and wants to broadcast to the troops anywhere in the world. I wonder if I can receive that this year. It's interesting because, like I was saying, a lot of the Radio Netherlands and a lot of the transmitter sites from different broadcasters are, have of course, when they moved away from shortwave, the transmitter site stayed up. I think there are people out there that think, you know what? Let's make sure that all of this is still available, just in case we need that. And oh man, Rufus Newt, 40 kilograms of cat food here. Wow. My cat loves dry and canned food. He likes both. X80Xer WWCR could replace Alex Jones with Jill if necessary. Yeah, absolutely. G. Lee, nice to have you here. WA6120SWL from Fresno, California. Received this XH Data D808 and a Kato emergency radio. Enjoying using the XH Data, just using the telescoping antenna in the backyard. I'm impressed. It is very, very good. It appears to be more sensitive than is PL880. That's interesting. I do see an edge. I see the XH Data outperform my Texan PL680 and 600. So I wouldn't be surprised that it's possible that it has a little something more than the PL880 also. So Todd J. Riddle is recently a new owner of the Uniden BC250D and Uniden BC796D as well from eBay. Got them kind of cheap. Cool. Nothing like having great new cheap radios. Sarah Mason, nice to have you here. So my condolences, Jerry DX. Nicholas, how cool would that be? The official Shortwave channel show on Shortwave. It would, that's for sure. It would. Taxpayer built a shortwave radio from a kit when I was 13 years old. Cool. That's always a lot of fun. So Liam says, sorry, that should be the Yaesu FT400 FT. Catalan, yes, Newman. Oh, man. Mr. Simba, nice to have you here. We're all well. Of course, Paul is totally, doesn't know what happens. He's got his food. He goes out. He doesn't really, he has no idea what's happening. I looked at him this morning and I was giving food and I said, you're lucky. You have no idea what's happening and you still go out like nothing's different. You have to still have your normal little life. It's very interesting because somebody asked me the other day, and you know what? That is the interesting question of a guy that works at home. Somebody the other day said, you work from home, and I know you go out to the bar for a beer with friends and stuff, or in the restaurant sometimes, and that person works from, has a 9-to-5 job every day out of home. And, that person is happy to be home. And so she was telling me, well, I'm happy to be home. I don't mind the confinement and staying home. I always want to stay home when I work. So I was like, I'm happy I'm at home. And I've heard other podcasters and other people that work from home talk about this at one point. Sorry if it's a little bright, but the very grayish clouds are trying to give way to the sun for some reason. So I'm bringing the sun with my shortwave, probably. So anyways, she was asking me, how do you find the confinement and the lack of bars and restaurants? And I said, you know what? It's maybe a little harder on me for a very simple reason, is that when you work from home, you're always at home. So you want to go and do other things when you have time because you're always at home and you get bored of being at home. So it's great that I work at home, but there's that side where you want to go out and you want to do stuff somewhere else. So I told her, you know what? I think maybe it's a little harder for me for that simple reason of not having my normal outside of the house life. Because I'm here all the time and I've been here all the time for the past few years. So it's kind of different, Erica Trell, nice to have you on board, my friend. João Sombra Newhouse, nice to have you here from Brazil. Let me just go back here. Okay. So João Sombra Newhouse from Brazil. Shady Pyro 90, nice to have you here. And yeah, of course, Jerry. It is everywhere. Rodolfo 65, nice to have you here from New York City. James Powers says, Laurel Powers from Derry, New Hampshire, stay safe, karaoke rules. I've been recording a couple of songs that I put on Facebook and also on YouTube on a channel that I don't use. because, wow, the sun is really getting here now. I think I'm going to have to close the shades. Unless you guys don't care that I have half of my face slit and the other one not. So the karaoke bar that I go to, of course, we're trying to kind of boost the owner's spirits by doing stuff, because he's kind of really down with the fact that the bar is closed, but also with the fact that the government aid is not going to be sent to people that sell alcohol. So bars are excluded from pretty much all the help. So he doesn't know how he's going to go through this. And so we've been cheering him up. And I'm the one that kind of thought of the idea. I went to the webpage, to the Facebook page of the bar, and I said, hey, let's cheer up the owner by each making a video of one of our songs at the karaoke bar and posting it on the wall of the bar. And of course, it does cheer him up because it's like really, really cool. And tons of people have been posting their own karaoke version of a song, which is nice. But it gave me an idea that every night that I have time, I should actually have, confinement day number 3 karaoke song, and post it on Facebook and post it on the YouTube channel, and do a different song every day for the fun of it. And you know what? It actually also makes everybody's spirit go up, because everybody just thinks of something else. You sing a song, and so I did 2 songs as of now. So basically I did a Sting song, which is Fragile, because I thought it was a circumstance. And I the second day I did Riders on the Storm from The Doors. So tonight I'm going to try to do another one, in my 3rd song, and try to do one every day and post it online. And I posted to that YouTube channel that a few people watch. A few people that follow me on other channels are kind of there, and they can see that video of me singing. Terry Cook, nice to have you here from Montana, KF7BQ. Erica Trell, lots of emergency service calls here mention about using isolation protocol. Liam, what's Mars? It's a planet, and it's also a military service, which is it's kind of an equivalent of amateur radio, but with amateur radio with the U.S. military. So there are different U.S. military services that use that. So Mars is short for Military Auxiliary Radio System. Sorry. So Military Auxiliary Radio System is basically the system, and it's kind of a amateur radio branch, if you want, of the U.S. military. And they have nets, and actually I have this really beautiful list that was posted with Mars and FEMA, and there's tons of information in here. It's a really, really beautiful list. I shared the link of the document in my Facebook group, but it's very, very complete. List of frequencies, times, nets, all sorts of stuff. It's really, really cool. So, and I've been actually decoding some AIL with multi-PSK, AIL 141E, something like that, and getting call signs, which is kind of cool. And it was kind of the first time that it ever happened. So, kind of cool. Igor Enrique, nice to have you on board from Brazil. What was your last reception of HM01? Is it spread in North America? Received WWV a short time ago here in Brazil, and it's a bit complicated to receive it. My last time I received HM01, which is a Cuban numbers, was maybe a week ago, a week or two ago. I think it was a week ago. I was by accident, actually. I was tuning around, and I saw this big signal, and noticed, and I clicked on it, and it was like, oh, it's HM01 on one of their frequencies that I don't listen to very often. So that's why I was kind of surprised to see it. DNet, nice to have you here. And Man Radio DXer was listening to 5,000 kilohertz on the U20 SDR this evening and heard Spanish fishermen. They are everywhere. Yeah, I would guess it's probably from North America. The RTTY is very, very strong, and it's like a battle actually. Sometimes the RTTY was stronger than WWV. DGen says I'm in my teens right now, so and unfortunately I didn't experience the big times of shortwave, but I just listen to what is left and try to write as many stations as possible. Cool. And it's a cool thing, honestly. I mean, nothing like receiving letters in the mail. So, Habu Sayed, 230 million people speak language Bangla worldwide. How many Bengali audience do I have? Well, I have a lot of people watching from India and from that vicinity, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Nepal. So I would guess there is a fair share of people that speak that language that watch my show also. But don't ask me to speak that language. I have no idea. PLF Radio, do you know some some emergency frequencies that are active or newly active right now? You know what? A lot of the lower frequencies are honestly a trick for emergency traffic from Mars and FEMA. A lot of it is on the fringe of the amateur bands, just outside. So if you take the 20-meter band, for example, that is 14,000 to 14,350. I've heard quite a few between 14,360 and 14,500, just at the just above the end of the 20 meters, and below 13,900 to 13,999. In that range, there's quite a few. So a lot of them, and I suspect maybe it's because they have ham radio gear. I don't know, but there a lot of them are on the just outside the edges of the amateur band. Try that. You're going to hear a lot. One of the most active frequency ranges right now that I'm tuning almost every day, the bottom part of 4 megahertz, 4,000 to 4,200. But even more closely, it's like 4,000 to 4,150 in upper sideband. A lot of activity. One night, I was listening to like 4 or 5 different nets, all going on at the same time around 23 and 0 UTC. So there's a lot of stuff, and I'm sure, because I'm in North America, so a lot of the stuff that I hear is emergency from, Canada or United States, and mostly United States. But I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of countries that still have equivalents to Mars and FEMA that probably use shortwave in transmitting the help and in transmitting all sorts of information. Hey, by the way, guys, we're at 198 viewers from my counter here. I just want to say one thing. Remember that the record is 217. So let's cross our fingers that we go to 200 and we beat 217 today. That'd be kind of cool because we're almost at 200 viewers right now. So a lot of emergency services are actually using the HF bands. I've not heard anything from Canadian forces. Here in Canada, we have an equivalent of Mars, which is CFARS, Canadian Forces Auxiliary Radio System. And they even have sometimes joint communications between CFARS and Mars. So Canada and U.S. military are kind of, going together here. So it's kind of, listen to the bands. There's a lot of stuff. This is where an SDR is fun because a lot of it is unknown. A lot of it is you don't really have the frequencies, but you start looking at the waterfall and you start seeing all of those signals everywhere. And you're like, wow, okay, there's stuff here, Jerry DX drinking caribou. And so you're gonna kill that COVID-19. It's funny because somebody posted a link the other day that I, of course, told him this doesn't work. The link was, well, if you don't have any Purell or any, alcohol cleaning stuff for your hands, you can use vodka or you can use whatever 40% alcohol. And there was a guy on the CBC that was talking about the fake news of the social media, and he was saying it doesn't work. To kill germs, the alcohol content needs to be 70% or more. So it's like, oh, okay, 70% or more. So you're not killing the germs at 40%. Apparently, they're just getting drunk. So imagine coronavirus on being drunk. That can be nice. Eric Cottrell, remember hearing some military digital signals just off of either 5 or 10 megahertz occasionally. I think the military tends to operate where they want. They operate pretty much where they want, but they have a consistency in their schedules. They do have a consistency in their schedules and their frequencies, but the military just pops up wherever. It's like, they're probably gonna just like, okay, that frequency seems empty. Let's just, broadcast and that's it. But there's a lot of activity. It's really the time to listen to all of those frequency ranges that you don't usually listen to. Anything that is outside the international broadcast bands and the amateur bands. Tune around slowly and upper sideband. You'll be surprised of all the things that you will actually hear on the different frequency ranges there. The other day, I like on the, that's why you all should be on the Shortwave group, the official SWL group, because there are a few of you that do post some of the Mars or FEMA stuff that you hear. And it's kind of cool because it is really nice. Some of the frequencies I didn't even know. And most of them, when somebody posts it, most of them that I hear. So there's a lot of traffic and a lot of stuff in there. So what else do we have? Remote Radio DX Man. Heard an unusual broadcast from Voice of Turkey today. 5945. By sign on, it appeared to be a repeat from 12:30 Zulu on 15450. The news lasted for only 3 minutes and concluded with "Stay home, stay safe." A lot of the international broadcasters are kind of in their very, very unique alert times. They are, and a lot of the employees are staying home, and a lot of the services changed somewhat. Like Radio Exterior de España doesn't have its external English, French, Portuguese stuff. And basically, what happens is that there's an effect there. So it could be Voice of Turkey, and Voice of Turkey also is so weird in its schedules. It's often broadcast at times it shouldn't, or sometimes the transmitter stays on. Sometimes they come on late. It's like weird. It doesn't. It seems like the guy forgot to turn on the switch. It's very, very weird. DGen, Radio Taiwan, KBS, Voice of Korea, Voice of Vietnam, CRI, and whatnot. Cool. Have fun. Emergency frequencies are also digital. There's a lot of digital stuff, taxpayer, on the shortwave bands that come from emergency and from all sorts of military and from government agencies. So James Farley, nice to have you on board from New Jersey. Rufus Newt. Yes, absolutely. Why not? Rufus Newt. Rufus, You are now promoted to moderator. Rufus is now moderator. Woohoo! Cheers, John on Mars, says Liam. What else do we have? Hunter Carver, XH data rules. Absolutely. Terry Cook, actually, Navy Mars has been gone for a while. Only Army and Air Force Mars now. Yeah, there are some parts of the Army that have gone. A lot of it seems to be mixed, kind of mixed operations. Zach wishes you could be an animal at this time. Especially like, Paul the cat that just doesn't care. Erica Troll and cats would behave the same if they didn't know about the virus. You know what I'm scared of? There was one story where apparently a cat has got COVID-19, which is like, wow, okay. I hope that it's not something that cats get easily, because that could be a problem. I was thinking, well, if cats could get that easily, now everybody gonna be scared of Paul the cat when he goes outside. They're all gonna run away. Calvin, little ray of sunshine. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. A little ray of sunshine. Zach, what's my dinner plans? I've got a pork roast. I haven't had that in a long, long time. It's either that or, Chinese food takeout. Keegan, yeah, because it's from 5,000, roughly from about 4,999 to 5,004. So it's most of its signal was on the upper part of 5,000 kilohertz. John Pickney. Here we have trending people with evictions for working from home in violation of occupancy contracts. Oh, wow. That is dumb. Come on. Come on. Yeah, Eric Cottrell, absolutely. I do that. But, when you work from home and you do long walks all the time, it's like it gets a little boring at one point. Danny Shortwave, Radio DX from Yonkers, New York. Digital Analog Ham. Nice to have you here from the UK. How about we start over? Let's reset and decide that we are in 2021 and forget it. Hunter Carver says, bought an extra Ratty Wow R108. He's afraid he's going to wear out the one that he has now. That's actually using the radio a lot. But, it's like, hey, you know what? We still have it here. The other day, yeah, it's here. I said that I would put batteries in, so the battery was charged. Let's see. You know what? The battery's halfway. The battery's halfway, but it's still working. And when did I put the battery on? I put it live. It was like, 3 weeks ago at least. I'm not sure the radio drains the battery. I think it's the batteries that are crappy that drain themselves. I would need to check that out. Because, it still works 3 weeks later. I think it's the batteries that are crappy more than the radio draining the battery. Ghost of Asia. Nice to have you here from Ottawa. Um, 11 meter band. Let's try out 27025. Let's go here and let's check it out. 27025. Any activity here? Anything special here? There's something on 27 here. What is that? That's just some kind of interference. Doesn't seem to have a lot of activity on the bands right now here. HB, as I have here, good afternoon. Rufus Newt, trying to get my MLA 30 outside every day. Hindrance today, it was 2 feet of water in the basement. Oh, God. Hope everything is all right. Jerry, says I need vitamin D from the sunlight. Problem is, it doesn't work through a window. You need to have that ultraviolet, which doesn't go through windows. Mad Radio DX. Mars is also a very tasty chocolate bar in the UK and Canada also. I haven't had a Mars bar in a long time. I should try one. I haven't had one in a very long time. Oh, man. I got to be careful. I'm going to get fat. I've been, I bought a bag of Cadbury's Easter eggs that are little colored eggs. Oh, man. This is crazy. Crazy. You take one and you can't stop. It's like chips, like potato chips. You have one and you can't stop. Chuck CB Davis. Nope, nobody knows where it comes from, and or what it is. We think it comes from the U.S. somewhere, but we don't know. Jim and Robert Milligan, do you mean Department of Defense Mars? Yeah, well, kind of, the military stuff that happens, absolutely. Eric Cottrell, I should do a song. Maybe I will do Tom Paxton's Yippies in the Sky. A Weird Al song, that'd be nice. Like a surgeon. I like Weird Al's videos that go with these songs. They're just so interesting. It's so funny. I should do a Weird Al Yankovic, YouTube. They're all on YouTube. Weird Al Yankovic music video night tonight. I'd laugh my head off. Some of them are just so good. Oh, man. What else do we have? Eric Cottrell says, one thing I hate about multi-PSK is the user interface design, or should I say lack of one. I spend so much time trying to find the darn setting. And I was looking at, like, when I heard some ale the other day, the first thing that I thought is, I'm going to bring up multi-PSK. I swear it took me at least 3 minutes, if not 4 or 5, to find that little ale button and that interface. And it's always the same. Every time I try to change mode, it's like a 3 or 4 minute looking at every button and then finding out, there it is. Yes, it is. FLDG at least has a lean list of modes. That's kind of easy to go through. But that interface, oh man, it is the worst. But we had to say that multi-PSK, what it does really well, and has a lot of stuff that it actually does also. Northern Dawn says you got a big Bangladesh community. Mike Torton, nice to have you here. WC0L in Kansas. Pretty cool. Nice to have you here, my friend. Mike Kane, WA1PJG from New Hampshire. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Jim from Rhode Island. Nice to have you on board, my friend. What else do we have? What else do we have? John Pickney says 192 viewing and only 59 likes. Yeah, come on, guys. Thumbs up. Keegan says, my dad, W9JEF, has a fire going in the wood stove. Oh ho. Wood-fired pizza. Well, not here. But I do like good wood stove pizza. Absolutely. What else do we have? Kevin Gianapalo, I think a bottle of Everclear might meet the standards. John Doe, nice to have you here. I know that many radios have a Mars mod that lets them talk everywhere. Even VHF radios has a mod. Yep. A lot of the amateur radio gear is actually, they think of it for use in Mars nets. So that's why they have, like the FT450 behind me right here. As you can mod this receiver, this transceiver, to broadcast everywhere. And it is mostly for Mars activities, so that they can actually sell these to, the military, so that they can use it. Friend of Crows, what we'll hear on Mars? Well, Mars nets are military, so a lot of them are nets with a lot of traffic and stuff like that. But there's a lot of traffic, of all sorts of things happening, including emergency traffic that can go through. So it's kind of interesting. It's nice to listen to from time to time. And they have all sorts of modes. The other, about 3 or 4 months ago, I was listening to one of their frequencies, and they actually, so they said out loud, "Oh, anybody wants to go to Olivia 16500?" I'm like, "What?" And what I know is 2 minutes later, they're all in Olivia 16500, and because he said the mode, I fired up FLDG and I could see their conversations in digital. It was really, really nice. It was kind of cool, actually. Another time I was listening in, and they went to MFSK 32. Like, oh, okay, let's follow them and follow the conversations. John Pickney says, saw Everclear where I'm looking at moving in Nevada. That stuff is 90% alcohol. So that means you can wash your hands with that. Absolutely. Kevin Jane Apollo, no officer, I'm not drinking. It's my hand sanitizer. But I got a bottle of vodka here at work. Cleaning my hands, If I've got to touch my face, I'll drink some vodka first. I'll clean them with vodka first. Kathleen, maybe you can do a video just about military stuff these days. I hope it won't get banned. No, I've done some videos of different military stuff, and none of them got banned. So, hey, Kadarius, nice to have you here. But that's a good idea. Maybe I should do a couple of videos and focus on some of the military communications that are available out there. Absolutely. Terry Cook, amateur 60-meter channels are shared with Mars FEMA. Yes, that's true. That's true. And actually, amateur radio are second operations there. So if Mars military nets happen on those frequencies, amateur radio have to let them do what they want because they are not the primary user of the frequencies. Petef Barrett, nice to have you here. And yes, keeping fine. Loves listening to aircraft HF bands, North Atlantic, 5525, 5649 in the UK. Stay safe. From Mansfield, UK. Yeah, that's a lot of fun too. I should monitor the airband tonight. I mean, there must be a drastic change in the amount of communications due to the fact that there are so many planes that are staying grounded now, and that the air traffic here it's incredible. I've told you guys here it's a corridor for the airport here in Montreal. I am amazed at how quiet it is. There is really a lot less air traffic, and it shows. I notice it here. It's crazy. Calvin says a lot of radio stations here are broadcasting their different pieces during the day and evening from their homes at the moment. So, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of stations that are actually asking their, all of their people to stay home and have kind of a little home studio and do stuff. Dejan says, I have holidays now, so there's a lot of time for shortwave listening. And I'm also experimenting with different kind of antennas. Maybe I'm going to buy the MLA30. Yes, do. I'll have a lot of fun. So, yep, the dedicated forum, UDXF. And that's where that list comes from, actually. Rufus is honored to be a member of the Blue Group. Let me just check it out here. Degen build my own magnetic loop antenna, but I could imagine the MLA30 might be a bit better. Well, that would make a great way to compare two antennas, one that is home built and one that is purchased. Give anybody a sense of, the differences between both. That'd be nice, honestly. That'd be very, very nice. What's my favorite Chinese? Here we have there was a Chinese. I'm really talking here about American Chinese food, not the real Chinese stuff. We had a Chinese restaurant that was just 2 corners from street from here. That was, and it was the best Chinese food restaurant around. And they moved because they bought the building to create a parking lot. So they were supposed to demolish it and everything. It never happened. So the building's still there. But at least the restaurant is still exists in another spot. That's where I order from. I like stuff, like pineapple chicken and I don't know what I like, the General Tao, stuff like that. Real North American Chinese food. Ja, nice to have you here from Illinois. Eric Cottrell baked a frozen pizza in the oven for lunch. There's Mike's stuffed crust pizza that I purchased at the grocery store. That is just so amazing. I was so surprised that a frozen pizza could be so good. RDC98 TDI. Nice to have you here from Kentucky. Pretty cool. Johnny the Xer, nice to have you on board. W3JMC. Paul Saunders, nice to have you here. Eric Cottrell, rechargeable batteries will self-discharge if they are not the ones designed for low self-discharge. Because the RadioWow uses this battery, which is meant technically for a cell phone. It's actually, this one is the Nokia brand. The one that comes with it is branded RadioWow. But I suspect that the radio isn't draining the battery. I suspect that the battery is draining itself. I think so. These are lithium-ion batteries. But I really suspect that the battery is the problem, not the radio. I would need to hook it up somehow in a way to verify. But, you know. Matambale, nice to have you here, my friend, from Colorado. John Pickney says, almost tempted to leave the house in a bit to get a cheese steak sub. Getting tired of heating out of the fridge. Why not? Sounds delicious. Take care, PLF Radio. Yeah, buddy, you would get arrested. Well, you would get the visit of FCC people pretty fast. So, John Pickney, yes, they are sugar, and sugar. Absolutely, it's completely crazy. Johnny the Extra saw Weird Al live once. Great show. John Pickney, we need a Weird Al revival in times like this. Yep. Vince Perrault, salut. Bienvenue. Nice to have you on board. Jasmine, do a Weird Al adaptation of a current song, but change the words for us shortwave listeners. Like, oh man, I should do I once thought of kind of using a well-known song, but creating a all radio-related lyrics that go with it. I think that could be kind of fun. Hunter Carver found a really cool place to DX the other day by accident. I love portable radios. That's cool. Eric discreetly crossed the border into Rhode Island yesterday so I could stock up on Autocrat coffee. Okay. Nicodarius Paul is great. He's oblivious to all of this. He doesn't know what's happening. He's his happy little cat self. Kevin Cook can't get any shortwave in Cincinnati. What's up with that? You probably have too much noise. It's the fact that your noise level around you is too high. So in your home or your neighbors there's way too much noise being created. You should go to a park where you're far from houses, or go to the countryside, and you'll see that it's tons of difference. Big cities are the problem of big cities is the noise. I have a lot of noise here. I'm kind of lucky because the MLA 30 helped me a little bit, but there's a lot of noise going on the bands. I can tell you that. What else do we have? Shady Pyro 90. So the MLA loop, 30 loop. Do I need a 3.5 millimeter connector to connect? Yeah, you'll need adapters. You will need adapters to have that SMA connector to 3.5 millimeter. Absolutely. A lot of people are using two connectors. One that is from SMA to SO39, and the other one is BL259 to 3.5 millimeter hooked together. And others are using other types of adapters. Jimmy Robert Milligan says, already April, supposed to get 2 centimeters of snow here in Alberta, possibly for the next 4 days. That's the thing of April in Canada. Anything can happen. It could be summertime tomorrow, and we could have a big snowstorm 3 days after. Usually, I always joked every year because I do a lot of biking. And every year, I would take my bike out when I think it's okay. And a week later, we'd have a snowstorm. And it was to a point where on Facebook, when there was a snowstorm in late March, early April, people would just go on my wall and say, "Did you take your bike out?" "Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. I brought the snowstorm." Oh, man. What else do we have? Navid Farham, nice to have you here. 20 years old. Can you suggest some frequency where I could find rock and roll stuff? Well, on shortwave, it's interesting. 5085 WTWW. And even some WRMI frequencies have a lot of pop rock songs lately. You just need to listen to the right time. Hey, Fastlow, nice to have you here from Montreal. Terry Cook, most Mars operators are hams who join Mars. Very few of the Mars stations are actually military owned. Okay, interesting. Simplio, nice to have you here, my friend. What else do we have? Rick, WOHB. We'll just get back here. Take care, René Charbonnier. It's nice to have you here. U.S. Coast Guard can come up on any frequency. I once heard NMN on 14300 because boat was in distress, and that's where they could talk to them. Well, I believe the military in general can be on any frequency if they are of assistance. Is there a rule? I have a question for you guys. So you're a ham radio operator. So, of course, that means you have to operate within the boundaries of specific frequencies. But let's say you're a ham radio operator. You hear a SOS, an emergency call, but it's outside the amateur bands. Yet, you are capable of transmitting there. Are you allowed, and because you could help somebody in danger and save their lives, would you be allowed to go outside the amateur band in the purpose of helping somebody in distress? Or is it forbidden? That's a question I'm asking myself. Because, I mean, let's say nobody answers, but you are capable of answering. You know that he's probably going to hear you and that you could be of assistance. Would you be allowed to transmit if it's outside amateur bands? That's a question. Johnny the Xer, not nearly much air traffic from Philly International. Mad Reader the Xer, still here, Shannon ATC. I have not checked the local airband though. Jasmine says there are less HF air comms, but the ones you hear are more interesting. Lots of air cargo still moving. And of course, military flights and a call sign reach on civilian frequencies. Cool. Bobby Burgess, with everything shut down, you will be down to get traffic on HF, VHF, or even Inmarsat. Man. Eric Cottrell, it's interesting to see the number of live TV shows produced with hosts at home. Yeah. I mean, everybody's changing the way of doing things. And it's interesting because I think it's going to have a lasting impact. I think it's going to have a lasting impact on how media is broadcasting stuff and broadcasting live shows and all. Mark Rich, nice to have you here. I was watching the Lovely Eggs album launch party. What did you miss? Tons of things. Todd J. Riddle, do you have a P25 scanner up there where you are? You ever listen to or hear anything on FEMA and whatnot? Well, I've got the ICOM SCR30 that is capable of P25 phase 1. I need to play a little more with that, but I've heard on HF, I've heard a lot of stuff from Mars and FEMA for emergency stuff. There's a lot of traffic going on right now. Symblio was right about that active region. The sunspot. We had a sunspot all week this week. Pretty cool. It feels good. There's actually a report. There was a on space.com an article where they were talking about so they're making a prediction. So a team, what's happening, of course, our knowledge of the sun is not that great, but they were talking about a prediction because we have new tools now watching the sun, and they want to try to use these tools and making better predictions of the solar cycles. And it was very interesting because they actually decided to try a prediction. So the prediction they made is that by the end of April and for the rest of the year, we actually might see an increase in the number of sunspots. So an increase in solar activity. That will also let us know where solar minimum actually was. But they think that this year we're starting to get the rise of the solar cycle. And their prediction is that in July of 2025, we'll have the peak of the solar cycle with 115 sunspot number on the sun. So this is going to be interesting to see. 115 sunspot number. So by the way, for those that wonder, it's not 115 individual sunspots. The sunspot number is a weird calculation of spots. It's like when there's one spot, you're at 11. So you'll see sunspot number 11, which will tend you to, people will think, oh, well, there's 11 sunspots. No, there's not. There's one. But the problem is because when there's a sunspot on the sun, it sometimes have, so that dark, when you magnify that core, sometimes you see that it's several little cores rather than one. So they kind of made that weird number that gives you, so sunspot number minimum is 11, which means when there's one spot, its sunspot number is 11. So it's kind of weird the way that they calculate that. So they're calculating sunspot number 115, which means just a few spots, which also means kind of a small solar cycle. But it's not going to be smaller, because I get this all the time. Somebody said, well, this is a Maunder minimum. The next cycle is not going to happen, or it's going to be lower, or it's going to... We're not at a Maunder minimum. We're in lower and smaller cycles. That's it. And some of the long-term predictions of the cycles is interesting also, because long-term prediction of cycles are saying, yeah, the next one's going to be a small one, but after that, they're going to come back at bigger cycles again. So that's also going to be interesting to see in the future. Not necessarily that I want to see it right now, because 2025 is going to bring me to 56 years old, and then 11 years, that's going to be 2036. That means I'm going to be 67 years old. I'm not, I can wait. Well, I can wait. I don't need to see that right now. But it's interesting, and it's interesting to see that we might have better predictions as time goes by. One thing for sure, the last prediction was very close to the actual solar cycle. So I think we're getting better at predicting what's happening with our sun. And that's kind of nice. Rifleman 336 and 8 UCN in Dayton, Ohio. What's my shortwave call sign? It's this. Here it is. Let's put this back here. And here it is. Da, 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 da. So it's VE 2029 SWL. And I got it on February 2nd. Oops. Got it on February 2nd. It's really cute to print it on photo paper. It makes it very, very nice and very official. I want to buy a frame and put it in a frame, actually. So it's kind of nice. Vince, I hope you're not talking about a Chinese restaurant that was near Olympic Stadium on Sherbrooke. Oh, no. You're talking about Bill Wong? I used to go to Bill Wong when I was a teen. And then they got that claim of having rats and all sorts of things in the restaurant. And they pretty much closed, the year after that or something. Liam, can you talk to many persons on CB, SSB, lower sideband with a good setup, with good antennas? Pretty surprising what you can do actually on sideband on a CB. Erica Trell says you could tell by leaving the battery out for a couple of weeks and then trying it in the radio. Yeah, that's what I'm going to try also. Actually, I recharged the other one 3 weeks ago. I should pop it in and see if it's fully charged still. 18915 carrier with faint audio. 18915. I may be hearing something, but I'm not sure. Very, very, very. If there's something, it's very, very, very weak. Very, very weak. What else we have? Kadarius says, Paul the Cat loves his fans. Terry Cook, Mars Radio Global Net are select Mars members that run phone patches for U.S. aircraft. Cool. John Pickney, ever hear Life is a Rock, but the radio rolled me by Reunion? I'm not sure. Hey, Abdullah. Yes, it's possible that you're on a Saturday. Absolutely. You're from the future. I'm going to have to remember that. Life is a Rock by Reunion. I'm not sure I heard that. I'm going to check that out. Dave Freeman, nice to have you here. Nice to have you here from Monroe. No problem. Shelly, nice to have you here. Hey, don't worry about the email. When you do it, you do it. Don't worry. You don't have to, you don't have to do it now. Old Eye is really sick. Hope that, oh man, that's the dreaded moment. I remember telling Paul the Cat, do you realize that I'm going to cry my tears out one day because you're going to die and I'm going to be so sad. John Doe, best Weird Al song is Bought It Up Windows 95 Sucks song. I mean, I liked. Oh man, what is the name that he gave to the song? The song is "Gangster's Paradise," but he made a version of it, and the video is $1 million to watch. It's just crazy. Amish Paradise. He made a version called Amish Paradise. It's a beautiful video to watch. If you want to laugh your head off. Oh, God. Marvin Motz, nice to have you on board. The sun is rising in Japan, and he's happy. That's cool. That's cool. We need more happy people in the world. Nice to have you here from a Saturday morning. Cool. Matt Ambali says any individual can use any frequency in an emergency, if I remember this right. Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure. But I thought that even so even somebody would not be licensed. Say this would be modified, the Yesu here, and I hear an SOS, no ham license, and the fact that I can help somebody in an emergency, would I be able even without a ham license? Because I think ham operators had that possibility or that privilege. But is it everybody, even unlicensed hams, that have the capability to do so? Shane Jackson, nice to have you here. K4J SJ in Birmingham, Alabama. When I hear Birmingham, Alabama, it reminds me of when I was listening to DXing TV stations, and you guys had I believe, a Channel 4 station on from there, where I could, in the summertime on Sporadic eSkip, I could see that station from Birmingham, Alabama on my TV. If it's not Birmingham, it's at least it's somewhere in Alabama that I know. WF7I Homebrew, I believe, yes, for emergency calls, you can go outside bands. Josh says, yes, you can. Home Radio Man. In the USA, if you don't interfere with another service and do more harm than good, you will be forgiven. Taxpayer, you can relay SOS. John Pickney, the FCC used to throw away the rule book when it came to saving lives. Okay. Kind of interesting. Okay, so David says in the US, at least in the US, in an emergency, you can transmit on any frequency, whether you're licensed or not. Okay, so if you can save somebody's life, basically, you can just transmit to help out. Glenn, nice to have you here from Milwaukee. Well, I think WHP 1390, Rick, I think it's saving lives is a good reason. Matt says, I'd have to ask which band that would be, presumably FRRS, GMRS, because people are unlikely to call SOS on pirate bands or something civilians aren't allocated to use. But an example, marine bands. Say that the only way that person can is an HF marine band, and that your rig is capable of transmitting there, you know. Rifleman 336, in theory yes, in practice no. Too many cases of people being busted for being off frequency even though emergency existed. So it could be a complicated thing. That's what you're saying. It could be a complicated thing. WF7I, what webcam do you use and how would you like it? What was cost? How do you like it? I love it. It's a Logitech C920, Charlie 920. It's actually the number one selling webcam for anybody doing YouTube or anybody doing podcast video podcasts. And it's not very expensive. It's below $100. I don't remember the last price, but this thing is inexpensive, and it is the for a price versus performance, it's difficult to beat, and it does have amazing quality video. Really happy with this, and it's a really nice camera. When I purchased it, I was looking for something that could do 1080p at it does it at 30 frames a second, which is decent. It's okay. They do have a more advanced version that's capable of 60 frames a second, but it's a lot more expensive. And when you read the reviews, most will say, you know what? Yeah, it's kind of better, but for money, for bang, for the buck that you spend, the C920 is still a very hard to beat. So Logitech C920. Yeah, it doesn't trunk track Johnny the Extra, absolutely. The icon on my CR20. Liam, would anyone be interested in my AOR LE400? It was a Christmas present, man condition. Kevin Janapalo, yes, preservation of life allows you to temporarily break the rules. It would be like you are a passenger in a plane and the pilot dies, but you take control and amazingly land the plane. That would be amazing. John Pinkney says, however, when I was flying, a fellow pilot had a total radio failure. He used his cell phone to call FAA for assistance. He got FAA recognition for superior airmanship. Cool. And an FCC bust for using a cell phone while aloft. Oh, man. So it's kind of, okay. It's kind of a complicated thing. Simplio, agree, because above 60 degrees latitude, magnetic fields are stronger than the entire SC24 solar cycle 24, according to the magnetogram. Huh, interesting. So oh yeah, it's pretty good. Danny Shortwave Radio DX. Yeah, I think it's even lower price now, but it's totally amazing. It is for price versus buck, the best, really the best. Price is really jacked up, you say, WF7i? Let's just check it out here on Amazon. Logitech C920. So okay, here in Canada, no, this is crazy. One guy selling it for 399 Canadian dollars. Come on. That's not worth that price, though. I have one here at 133.99 Canadian dollars, which would be about 100-ish US dollars. But I mean, come on. 399, that guy's crazy. 465? Yeah, right. What is this? This is crazy. That is crazy. But eBay, Logitech C920. Logitech C920. Can get it on Logitech for 117.50 Canadian. That's plus $13 shipping. So that's about 95-ish US dollars. It seemed to be more difficult to find. I wonder if Logitech stopped making it. I'm gonna check Staples here. Staples, Canada. Yeah. Okay, on Staples. Let's check it out here. So that's Staples, Canada. Logitech C920. That's sold. Oh, they're selling the new one, so I think it probably is discontinued. Because here they have the Logitech C930E, and it's 170 Canadian. So maybe there's that new one now. And it seems to, there's nobody rating it. C930, I know that's the one that replaces the C920. So the C930E, and it's capable of 1080p. Huh. So maybe they discontinued the original C920, which is sad because, boy, is it an amazing camera. RDC98 TDI. Oh, cool. Then no, they still issued SWL call sign. Yes, absolutely. King Kali is shortwave on USB, LSB, or FM. All of that, all of those answers are good. And AM. International broadcasters are on AM. Utilities and hams are in general either upper, lower sideband. But there's even some FM stuff in the upper frequency ranges, like 10 meter band. So all of these answers are good. Jasmine can recommend the C920. It is an amazing camera. What else do we have? What else do we have? Let me go down here. Let me just go down here, trying to find my spot. Okay, Dave Freeman. Do you know when conditions will improve for medium wave or the AM band? I had thought it was sometime in the summer. Wasn't sure. Actually, it's some winter. In general, the best time for medium wave DXing is in the winter time. With the longer nights, often it improves the signal a lot. The summertime isn't as good because a lot of static crashes coming from the static crashes coming from the different thunderstorms, because it's hot in the summertime. A lot of storms going around. But it's more in the wintertime where conditions are actually good. So you're still in the interesting moment here with what's happening. But usually it's really winter that is, even for long wave, a lot of people would agree that winter is often the best. So the effect of winter versus summer is greater as you move through the latitude. So the higher to the closer to the poles you are, the more that effect is. I mean, at the equator, there's not that much difference, except maybe making different patterns of reception depending on if you're listening to the north or south of the equator, I would say. William, where did you have the printing done? I'll have to give you my personal information to have mine done for me. Thanks in advance. I did mine at home. I got a printer here. If you're talking about this, I make it here at home. I have some photo paper, and I got an Epson ET2750 EcoThank printer, and it prints really, really nice. Jeff King, nice to have you here. You know, maybe I've heard Life is a Rock, but I just didn't realize it. I'm going to listen to it later after the show. Oh, UHF, Rufus Newton. Yeah, I remember that with UHF. Wasn't that UHF movie with John Ritter? I saw that in the movies. Johnny the X or Amish Paradise. Yep, absolutely. It's just amazing. It's an amazing video. Johnny the Xer, as I walk through the valley. Yep, yeah. That one is really, really nice. As I walk through the valley where I harvest my grain, I take a look at my wife and realize she's very plain. Yeah, Coolio has the original song, Gangster's Paradise. HNX Media, nice to have you here. Oh, really, Johnny the Gangster? Well, I have to check that out. I came across when you're bored and you start searching for stuff. I went to YouTube one night and I started posting top 10 songs of, or top 50 songs of 1950. And there's a YouTube channel that has 15 or 20 seconds of the top songs of every year from 1930s to today. And so I started listening to that. Oh, wow, cool. The top 20 songs of 1950 and 51 and 52. And I went through all the years to realize so many songs that I thought were original songs from artists are actually songs that come from the past that are just remakes. And I did not realize how many remakes there actually is in modern music that's from the whole time. And even a remake that I thought was from an older artist is actually a remake of a remake because there's somebody that did it even before that. And it's pretty amazing. I was so surprised when I started watching that. Old radio man, in an emergency in the USA, anything goes on radio if you are giving or receiving aid and you're not earning or another service. Nissan Greenwich, can you post a list of the countries that have tuned into this channel? That is something that I need to look at. I mean, I have a big world map on my wall there, and I find it a shame because it's kind of hidden behind the my radio shelves. But I was thinking one day that it would be nice to have little colored pins on the map every time somebody's from somewhere, because I mean, over time I've had people from a lot of countries that actually watch this show. So it's kind of interesting. Dothan. Oh, thank you, Keegan. It's Dothan, Alabama. Yes, Channel 4, Dothan, Alabama. Thank you for letting me know. Now I remember. Yes, and I remember getting that on my TV with rabbit ears on Channel 4 with Sportic Eskip in the summer. Good old days. Good old days. John Pigney, there's also a weird Alaska-only ham distress frequency. 4167 kilohertz. Really? That's so weird. That is weird. I gotta say. Do you have Sahari? Nice to have you here from Algeria. Lee Burkett. Okay, thanks for a great show, Joe. Take care, my friend Lee. Nice to have you here. Yeah, it's crazy. I looked at the prices. I was like, whoa, what the hell? I think it's discontinued. What else do we have? Walmart selling the C920 for $274. That's crazy. Logitech C920S. Okay, let's check it out here. Amazon would have brought it. Logitech C920S. Still have it at $259. This is crazy. This is crazy. I still can't believe that guy that's selling at $399. Youch. Mine is a few years old, and I had paid, I don't know, I think it was 129 Canadian dollars back then, which is below 100 US dollars. This is crazy. Oh, maybe that's the thing. Josh says everyone's buying working from home. That is possible. Kevin Gianapolo, Best Buy has it listed for 69. Ah, that's interesting. So Best Buy might have it at 69. That's more reasonable. Simon Templar, greetings. Nice to have you here. Dejan, have you ever thought of making your own shortwave show on WRMI, for example? Absolutely, absolutely. But the problem is it costs money that I need to spend every week. Because, I mean, it's not cheap to broadcast off of have the donations. You know, who would... a quick question here. So you guys have noticed that I pretty much don't ask donations much. And those that are on Patreon, you might have noticed that 2 months in a row, I've not taken any donations. And the reason behind it is because my YouTube monetization has come to a point where, you know what, I don't, let's relax that. I don't really need necessarily to have that. But I'll let a quick survey here. If I broadcast a weekly show on WRMI, who would be willing to help out and donate a little something to keep it on the air? Out of curiosity. I mean, I can pay part of it, that's for sure, but who would be willing to do a little donation every week or, you know, once a month or whatever to help for the cost of that? Because, so my idea of a show on WRMI would be at least 1 hour. I had ideas of doing a show that's a mix of radio stuff and of radio news of all kinds, and but in a very unique way, not like, you know, AWR Wavescan or anything like that. Something very unique to me, and maybe some couple of, you know, listener letters and stuff. But anybody would be willing to help pay the cost of at least 1 hour, and if there's enough donations, maybe repeat and a 3 or 4 times during the week. Who would be willing to help out in such situations? Anybody? If you don't want to answer in the chat room, by the way, you can just send a personal message to officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com. To Radio Ranch. Eric Cottrell, looks like it's out of stock due to high demand, which means people on eBay sell it for 3 times more. Yeah, maybe, you know, we didn't think of that, but I think it's possible with all the people at home. Crazy. Yep, Dave Freeman, better in the wintertime in general. Longer nights make it better. Jim and Robert Milligan, takeout tonight. Any suggestions? Depends what you like. Bob, nice to have you here from Northeast Ohio. John Pinkney, take care, my friend. And stay safe. Yep, Radio Exterior de España is doing Radio Nacional España as long as they are not, the situation is complicated. Mark Elford at my Shortwave call sign made up at a office supply store. Monks under $3 covered in plastic steel. That's good. Perfect. Jasmine. It's not just remix. It's using the same 4 chords. Look for the axis of awesome videos on YouTube. Yeah, that often is. I'm very musical, so I remember one day I was with friends and we were listening to music, and I said, that with or without you from U2, those 4 basic chords. Listen to that song. It's speeded up and in a different style, but it's the same 4 chords. But it's different. It sounds different, totally different because of it. And I haven't seen UHF movie in 30 years. I saw that at the movies in the 90s and never watched it again. Oh, cool, William Helms. Simply, I remember scanning medium wave, hearing Chicago, WLW. Oh, man. Radio Exterior de España. Let's see how strong it is here. 96.90. And, oops. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good here, too. Pretty good. Radio Exterior de España is pretty good. 96.90. Shady Power 90, 98.75. Voice of Korea Chinese playing the. Am I seeing anything here? I see a very weak carrier, but I don't know if that could be it. It's just on 70. Pretty crazy. There seems to be some Asian signals there. Eric Cottrell, Alaska Emergency Channel. Thanks for sharing. Kind of interesting. Eric would be willing to donate. Depending on the power used, it could be $50 to $60 per hour easily. And I would like to be on a transmitter that I can be heard. I could be at $25 on WBCQ, but a lot of their frequencies don't really make it much. And it would be nice to have maybe a couple of airings, one for Europe, one for North America, and at least, Yeah, I know, Jasmine. But, I'm, Mad Radio DX, a good idea is a GoFund page. Oh, that's an idea. That's an idea. I didn't think about that. GoFundMe. Yeah. I could do a GoFundMe for a shortwave broadcast. That'd be nice. Okay. I mean, this moment is a little complicated to get money, but yeah, that'd be nice. That's an idea. Hey, Kimberly, nice to have you here from California. Well, I don't know yet. It depends on, but I would like to be probably like on, 93.95 or even 15.770. Or, one of the good ones that's making it really, really well everywhere. Oh, that's an idea, Jeff King, that I didn't think about. Some French and English. That can be interesting. Pachelbel rant on Google. I'm going to check that out. Glenn Zeckman, nice to have you here from Tennessee. Okay, Jasmine. I'll check it out. 7780 makes it good to Europe. Okay. That's something to check out. That's for sure. It's kind of interesting. I'll check it out. But it could be an interesting idea, to have a shortwave show on some of the big stations. Yeah, that is a good idea, Mad Radio DX. And the reason for GoFundMe is that people willing to donate only a small amount of percentage. It avoids you being out of pocket. Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure. That's a good way of doing it. Or putting you could put up a amount. I would put up an amount that would say, okay, this is how much it costs. And when I reach a certain amount, that gives me, say, I don't know, a minimum of 4 or 6 weeks of shows. Then I could start and say, well, if you wanted to continue, you know what you got to do. That could be, that could be. Glenn Hauser on 9955 WRMI. And I'm not hearing much of that. I'm hearing it a little bit. I do hear his voice, but that is broadcast towards South America. So, I'm going to check it out. I have a Twitch account, actually, but I've not used it, really. So I could check that out also. I could check that out also. So I'm not there yet, but when I would do it, I would ask, because you gotta, one thing for sure is you gotta ask what are the time slots available on the frequencies you want to use, and think about, is it worth it to broadcast on that frequency at that time? That's also something you need to think about. So, hey guys, we've been on for 2 hours and 12 minutes. I am a little tired, so I'm going to take it easy for the rest of the night. Lots of things happened today, recording the International Radio Report and all of that. But, stay tuned for Sunday. Who knows what could happen Sunday? Maybe Sunday could bring a magical show on the air. Who knows? So we're going to go and do some cooking now and get that pork roast. Brian Penny, 5165. Let's check it out. 5165. I have on 5165 a signal. Hearing definitely some music. 5165 AM with some music right now. Dr. Detroit just signed on. Hearing the music. 5165 AM. Hey, Hal H. Nice to have you here. So have a great weekend, and take a look in the possibility of a Sunday show. Who knows what's going to happen on Sunday? Maybe a magical show. Megan Delmage, karaoke Sunday. Who knows? So stay safe, everybody, and listen to the radio. Pirate on 5165. Take the time to listen in and take care, everybody. It's very important for all of you to take care. Okay? See you next week. We are live usually Wednesday and Friday. And Eric Cottrell, try the Sunday show earlier. That's if there's a Sunday show, it probably will be earlier than usual. So last week it was 0 UT. I'm going to do it because I got a lot of European viewers also that are saying, hey, do an early show for Sunday so we can see it. So we'll see. Who knows what's going to happen Sunday. But in general, we're here on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 0 UT. And Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 20 UT. Stay safe, everybody. Love you all. And see you next time on the Shortwave Show. Bye.